Well, aloha everyone. Welcome to another online piece of Inspire Collective, where we share stories from entrepreneurs in Inspire Collective and their story and their faith journey. We're here with Hal today, and we're excited to just kind of dive in. So Hal, tell us a little bit about your story and what you do now, but maybe how you got here. And,
Absolutely. Yeah, so Hal Wilkerson, originally from Florida, and I've been in Hawaii for 16 years this year, which I like to say I've been here long enough to know my place. And I actually came here by way of the U.S. Navy.
Okay.
And I left the U.S. Navy in 2010. And 2011, I started working with a major medical supplier. And I worked for it's a company called Medline Industries.
Okay.
And I managed their business in the Pacific Rim from 2011 through 2012 actually, all the way up until 2021.
Wow.
And and so had a great run with them. And during the actually got into the real estate game sort of on the side during that career.
Okay.
And realized that was kind of where my passion was from a business standpoint. And so, a lot of factors involved during, I don't know, there was something going on in 2021. I forget exactly what it was, but I try not to remember. But 2021, I decided to strike out on my own.
Okay.
And so I got into, so actually sort of started, for me with my initial business was doing short-term rentals.
Okay.
And we did short-term rentals across Hawaii, and then also delved into the mainland and have properties in both. But
Okay.
I decided in 21, in early, actually, let me rephrase that. I decided in pretty much the summer of 2020 that I was sort of ready to sort of work for myself.
Sure.
And so started the process at that point to get into transactional real estate. And so now I manage, transactions for primarily residential clients.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that since, I left my company in February of 21 and haven't looked back.
Wow. Very cool. So what would you say, how did God lead you out of that decision? Because it seemed like it was a pretty big decision to move from a different industry and find a new course. How did you get led to that?
That's a good question. In 2016, I actually wrote it down that I wanted to leave the corporate world and move into real estate.
Oh.
And so I kind of started on a search, but I literally kind of like wrote down my goals. I'm a big believer in writing down, what we want to achieve.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I basically said, okay, well, what do I need to do to make the moves? And so I started, doing everything that I could to sort of position myself to make an exit. And it was sort of, I guess it was God ordained.
Sure.
For me to exit. Everything kind of came together at just the right time.
Wow.
For me to make that move that I did. But as far as how was God in it, I think God's in it every, when we submit our lives to God, He, the steps of a righteous man are ordered of the Lord. And I've definitely, made my missteps along the way.
Sure.
And I would say one thing that I'm probably grateful for more than anything with InspireChurch is like it's just a great example of a church operating current to the culture, opening arms to everyone. And of course that's the kingdom of God. But it's been for me, we've had a kind of a little bit of a tough journey for me and my family. But for me to be able to bring my family here and to be, receive and also to give is a blessing. But I don't know if there's any usable items from that. But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So now in your day-to-day with the real estate and the things that you're doing in the marketplace, how do you see your faith being weaved into what you do? Because obviously, it's transactional with the customers, but I'm sure your faith plays a part of that. How does it all work?
Yeah, it's a big part. I lead a team now, and my team knows what where I stand. In fact, we've had, at some point, we're praying in our team meetings now, which has been unbelievable. But I've been very fortunate to have and attract a wonderful group of agents around me. And but as far as my faith, I truly believe that when you step out in faith, when you walk by faith, not by sight, he's going to cast light on the steps in front of you.
Sure.
Right. His word is a lamp unto our feet,
right.
And a light unto our path.
Yeah.
And if you think about that, like a lamp only casts to the next step or two. And so I have an idea and a vision where I want to be, and I know that where I want to be, but my faith is what shines the light on my next steps.
Yeah. There might be someone out there who has a dream, maybe it's to start their own business, maybe it's to step out to go, or maybe it's to go to college but they think it's just so impossible, right? They can't see 15 steps ahead, so they don't take any. And what would be your encouragement to that person to say, hey, we don't have to have it all figured out, but at the same time, the Bible does say without faith, it's impossible to please God. And so we can't live in a comfort zone and just stay comfortable and stuck and live a life almost that doesn't require faith, so to speak. It's challenging. So what would you say to the person who's maybe contemplating, they've been praying about, they really feel God's saying, hey, you gotta step out, you gotta move, but they're frozen, they're stuck.
Sure. You start with small steps. And, for me in my journey, it was networking. It was getting around like-minded people. And I think the Inspire Collective is a great source for that. And you get around like-minded people. You get around people, especially because Inspire Collective is a faith-based organization.
Right.
And you're going to network with other believers that are on that same journey. Yeah. And you may not be able to see those 15 steps ahead, but when you're engaging with the Russ Kimuras, with the other, other members of the collective that have gone down that path or taken some different steps on the journey, that's going to encourage you. And so I would say start with small steps, and then just gradually build. But the important thing, if you have that in your heart, in your mind, in your soul, that you want to be an entrepreneur, that you want to be a business owner, that you want to work for yourself, be self-employed, is to take a step no matter what. You can't get results if you don't take action.
That's very true.
And you've got to start with an action. So, but don't let, Rome wasn't built in a day. True. InspireChurch wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
Like Pastor Mike says, small things, small beginnings.
Right.
Great things come from small beginnings.
Yeah.
And you've got to take that small step. And I think the Inspire Collective is just an outstanding way for those that may want to have that, to do that.
Absolutely. What I hear from you is take a step, whatever that step is. But I kind of feel like the thing that maybe helps us take the next step, because sometimes we can take the first step and then we freak out and we stop, and then it stops there. I think the ability to take the second step and then the third step is a community, the people you surround yourself with, the networks. And so for wherever you're at, if you're maybe on your own and you're like, I need a community, maybe Inspire Collective is not in your area, but seek out community where you can be encouraged with like-minded Christian brothers and sisters who are going to say, no, keep going. God's got your back. You can do this, because it's going to come a time and place when you're stuck and you're like, I don't know what else to do, and I'm going to give up. And then you have a Christian brother or sister comes alongside you, no, keep going, because God's got this. And so I love that encouragement to not just take a step, but get in community. Find a place that people are going to rally around you to see your God-given gifts and talents come to pass. And I think that's super important. Any other things you want to share about Inspire Collective, about your journey, your faith journey, or an encouragement to our audience?
I would say, small steps, community, both are very good. But the other thing is that your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
And maybe we haven't, but if you've never heard that, it's true. And, that's what the Inspire Collective does, is it allows you and me to connect with people, that we can, as kingdom builders, enhance and grow the kingdom. Because I truly believe that as someone who is called to the marketplace, like one of my roles is to give back to the church. And when you connect with and you build relationships with other kingdom builders, you also have that sort of like-minded building. I mean, I've met an incredible friend that we just met on Friday night. We got together with another group of real estate investors that I met through the church.
Yeah.
And now we're, I've already got some business on the table from that meeting, and so that is really what comes. But you've got to take those steps, and we do have to operate in faith.
Yeah.
But
I love that. Your network is your net worth. And also heard it said, you're maybe one connection away from your breakthrough.
Yeah.
And then unless we step out and kind of, I don't know if I should go to that networking event, or I don't know if I should go to that, church thing or whatever, but you never know who you're going to meet.
Yes.
And what God has lined up for you. But if you stay in your seat, you're never going to find out. And so it's taking that step and really exercising the faith to say, hey, God, I don't know what you have for me, but I'm going to trust you and see what happens. And I think that's the life of a believer, is say, God, you are my Father and you have so much for me. And until I step out, I will never experience the fullness, John 10:10, of what you have for me.
Amen.
And the enemy's going to try to come and steal it and take you and keep you in a corner, but that's not the life God has for us. So I want to encourage everyone out there, continue to take the steps of faith that God has for you. You never know the divine connections that are going to come about. I just met Hal fairly recently, but I love the connections that we get to have through Inspire Collective and InspireChurch. So thank you for taking some time to share with us in your journey, and I hope people are blessed. Aloha.